Welcome to another episode of Untold Legends. October's going strong, and there's few things as exciting as a new Halloween movie coming out, especially when it doesn't involve Rob Zombie. On October 19th, Michael Myers finally returns to the big screen after a long hiatus. But there's a lot to know before going to see this movie, so today we're returning to the night he came home and traveling to Haddonfield, Illinois, the universe of the Halloween series and the stomping grounds of the terrifying killer, the very representation of Halloween itself, Michael Myers. Halloween, like many other slasher flicks of the time, has turned into an entire franchise of movies, but if you watch them all in the order they were released with no additional knowledge, there may be some confusion along the way. So today, we're going to explore the entire Halloween timelines. That's right, timelines, as in plural, and figure out exactly how the pieces all fit together, and where Halloween 2018 fits. And the pieces fit together in multiple ways, in a total of 4 separate timelines. That's right, 4 timelines. Quick note before we get started, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch won't be covered, since it's not part of the Michael Myers Halloween movies. Even though it has a 3 in the title, it was actually an attempt to make the series an anthology of scary stories. Halloween 3 is its own original story by itself, so it does not fall into any of the timelines. And obviously there will be spoilers for the entire series. Let's start with timeline number 1. Starting off with the original Halloween, a young Michael Myers on Halloween night randomly stabs his sister to death. Michael spent his entire childhood and teenage years locked away in a sanatorium under the watchful eye of his psychiatrist, Dr. Loomis, who became convinced the boy was the very embodiment of evil. The perfect patient to some, never misbehaving, never speaking. But as a grown adult, Michael escaped.
You're all right?
Yes, I'm okay.
He's gone. He's gone from here. The evil is gone.
After stealing a mask from a Halloween store and a uniform from a mechanic, Michael began stalking several victims throughout Haddonfield as Dr. Loomis desperately searched for him. Young teenager Laurie Strode and her friends became the target of Michael's Halloween killings, as Laurie ends up being the only survivor among her friends when Dr. Loomis finds Michael and shoots him 6 times.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
But Michael's body has disappeared, ending Halloween 1. After this, we have Halloween 2, which takes place immediately after Halloween.
What's going on out here?
Call the police. Tell the sheriff I shot him.
Who?
Tell him he's still on the loose.
Is this some kind of joke? I've been trick-or-treated to death tonight.
You don't know what death is.
Michael, on the same evening, somehow still alive, continues stalking more victims, obsessed with finding Laurie, who escaped in the first movie, now in the hospital recovering from her wounds. And this is the one that expands the story in the series, revealing that Michael Myers and Laurie Strode are actually brother and sister. He discovered he had a remaining sister alive, and he wants to kill her. Michael makes his way to the hospital, adding to his body count until he tracks down Laurie, and she desperately tries running away from him while still weak from her injuries and being sedated in the hospital. Dr. Loomis finds him, defends Laurie once again, and sets himself and Michael on fire.
It's time, Michael.
And then we have Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, in which it's revealed that both Dr. Loomis and Michael survived the fire. Loomis with some facial scarring, and Michael burned badly over his body, and comatose for 10 years. But like any good movie monster, he's not kept down so easily. In this movie, Laurie Strode is dead after having been killed in a car accident. In this movie, Laurie Strode is dead after having been killed in a car accident. But Michael awakens when he hears that she has a surviving daughter named Jamie Lloyd, who becomes his new obsession.
And she's too young to be his legal ward.
So the state owns him?
No, I still don't understand.
And almost like a repeat of the first movie, Michael searches for her, taking people out along the way, and Dr. Loomis once again is looking to stop him. This time around, the entire town is involved after Michael attacks a police station, and a mob forms in order to find him and protect Jamie. By the end, Michael gets hit by a truck, sent into a ditch near an abandoned mine, and the police, together with the mob, open fire and light him up, sending him to his death. Halloween 4 played with an idea that they never really expanded on. The possibility that the evil inside Michael could jump into another person. While at home recovering from a traumatic night alongside her adoptive family, Jamie repeats what Michael did so long ago. This ending was so unsettling, seeing a little girl take up the mantle of Michael now that he was dead. But then we have Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, where it's revealed that Michael also survived Halloween 4. After being shot repeatedly, Michael fell down the hole as dynamite is thrown in to finish him for good, but wounded, he floats down the river and he's nursed back to health by a hermit, who Michael thanks in the rudest way imaginable. And Jamie, after attacking her foster mother, for now unexplained reasons, has been committed to a children's hospital, and now she's mute, unable to speak from the trauma. This movie also introduces some kind of weird psychic connection between her and Michael, and she keeps seeing him even though he's not there. And of course, Dr. Loomis is once again trying to convince people that Michael's still alive. Now healed, Michael sets off to find Jamie again, as Michael goes on another killing spree. And eventually Jamie teams up with Dr. Loomis, using her psychic link with her uncle to help Dr. Loomis find Michael and end him for good. With her help, they lure him back to his childhood home, where Loomis tries to reason with him, which expectedly fails, and Michael captures her. But Dr. Loomis rescues her. By the end, Michael finds himself locked away in a maximum security prison for life, and a mysterious man in black attacks the police station and frees Michael.
No!
The final movie in the original timeline is Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, the undisputed worst entry in the entire series that prompted a redo. The Curse of Michael Myers was so crazy that there are 2 different cuts of the movie that are fairly different, yet most of the main ideas remain the same. It's 6 years later, and Jamie, now older, is pregnant. And when she has her baby, the baby is taken away by the mysterious Man in Black. And this is where the movie gets real stupid. It turns out there's been secretly this druid Halloween-inspired cult that's been present in the town, and they've been essentially controlling Michael, using him as a weapon since the first movie. A midwife helps Jamie escape with her baby, and then she dies, in a different way depending on which cut of the movie you're watching. Dr. Loomis is now retired, but returns to the role of finding Michael again. Donald Pleasance's final time playing Dr. Loomis, by the way. And we also have Paul Rudd as Tommy Doyle, the little boy that Laurie babysat in the first Halloween movie, now all grown up. Tommy grew up obsessed with Michael Myers, and he's done endless research about his motives. He also finds Jamie's baby and takes him under his care. Eventually, Dr. Loomis and Tommy team up and discover that Michael has been inflicted with the thorn, an ancient druid curse that forces its chosen ones to kill the next of kin on Halloween night, explaining why he's after his family all the time. After another movie filled with Michael killing victim after victim, Tommy confronts him at the end after escaping from the Halloween cult, and gives Michael a beat down. And then the movie ends with more questions than answers. The Curse of Michael Myers is an awful movie in every way I can describe, and after watching it a repeated amount of times, it still makes very little sense. It was received so badly among fans that the future of the series was in question, so that's where timeline number 1 concludes and timeline number 2 begins. In the second version of the Halloween timeline, Halloween 1 and 2 still exist, but Halloween 4, 5, and 6 have been completely erased. Those events no longer happened. After Laurie survived Halloween night in 1978 and Michael burned up in the hospital at the end of Halloween 2, instead of dying in a car accident and leaving a daughter behind, she now has no daughter and faked her death in a car accident and changed her name. 20 years later in Halloween H2O, she's living as the headmistress of a private academy and has a teenage son. Dr. Loomis has passed away already, and Michael's body was never found. But Laurie has aged into a paranoid mom who clearly has PTSD from the events of that night, causing trouble in her personal relationships.
I don't ask you for very much. Just give me one
Mom,
day!
I've given you 17 years!
And I need you to be responsible. Do you know what that means? Responsible!
Don't talk to me about responsible,
I
Mom!
just need this one thing!
Mom, I am not responsible for you! That's it. That's enough. I can't take it, Mom. He's dead. Michael Myers is dead.
And Michael has been searching for Laurie all these years in order to finish the job. Breaking into the house of Marion Chambers, the colleague of Dr. Loomis from the first movie, Michael steals a file from her house revealing Laurie's location and her new life, and then kills Marion. And Laurie's nightmare comes true as Michael finally finds her after 20 years. After killing some students, Michael and Laurie have an epic showdown where she fights back, and she fights back hard. As authorities arrive, they take Michael's body, but Laurie knows how unkillable he is, so she steals the ambulance with his body in it and attempts to end him permanently herself. And finally, Michael is killed. Not really. After Halloween H2O, we have Halloween Resurrection, where it's revealed that Michael had actually crushed the throat of an EMT, taking his uniform and switched costumes. So Laurie accidentally decapitated an innocent man with a family while Michael actually escaped. Now Laurie finds herself locked away in a mental asylum pretending to take her pills, but secretly waiting for Michael to find her, and of course he does. But this movie does the one thing that could have killed the franchise. It killed off Laurie Strode. And right at the beginning of the movie, too. After this, there's not much to say about this movie. It's filled with generic teenage characters that return to the spooky abandoned Myers house. None of them have any connection with Michael Myers at all. Busta Rhymes is hosting an online haunted house web series where contestants have to spend the night at the Myers house. And it's no surprise that the real Michael is actually inside the house and goes on another rampage. None of these characters matter to the overall series. They're all just random people that are thrust into this situation since the main character of the series and Michael's entire motivation is now dead. Oh, and Busta Rhymes also performs karate moves on Michael. I am not kidding.
So you want to be on Dangertainment? Let's see what you got.
The movie ends with Michael supposedly dying once again, but of course, that's never the end.
Burn, motherfucker! Burn!
So how do you move the franchise forward after killing Laurie Strode, you ask? You reboot it. Timeline number 3 consists only of 2 movies, made by Rob Zombie, completely wiping out all the previous movies, and starting over with a fresh take on the Halloween story and a full-blown reboot unrelated to anything that came before. Rob Zombie's Halloween goes into more details about Michael's family, and his childhood is also shown, revealing the typical, I'm a weird kid, had a bad childhood and trashy parents, now I'm a serial killer trope. The rest of the movie progresses like the original, in a much more extreme, violent manner, resulting in Laurie shooting Michael point blank. Then Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, unrelated to the original Halloween 2 also, and a direct follow-up to Rob Zombie's Halloween. Michael's body is taken away by the paramedics, but of course he's actually still alive. And 2 years later, Laurie is living with the Brackett family since her parents were murdered in this version of the Halloween universe. Michael's been missing and he's presumed dead, which never makes any sense in these movies. Why would he be dead if the people transporting him were killed and his body's not there? Dr. Loomis in this version wrote a book and became famous due to his encounter with Michael, and Michael walks around through most of the movie like a homeless person, constantly having visions of his mother, and he looks just like Rob Zombie, clearly done purposely. The visions tell him to go find Laurie, so he sets off to find her again. Laurie also discovers her brother-sister connection with Michael, and after several people die, Michael takes Laurie to an abandoned shed, where Dr. Loomis and the police find them.
Love is like a cloud, holds a lot of freight.
Followed by an ending ripped shamelessly from Psycho, where Laurie is now in a mental hospital and has gone crazy. Understandably, this is where the Rob Zombie Halloween timeline ends. Fans hated it, it sucked, so this takes us to where we are today with timeline number 4. In the new version of events, only the original 1978 Halloween movie exists. None of the other movies happen. No brother-sister connection has been revealed, no Jamie Lloyd, no Rob Zombie versions, no weird Halloween curse. In this version, after Dr. Loomis shot Michael at the end, he was found that night and ended up being taken into custody, and he's been locked away ever since, for 40 years. Laurie ended up staying in Haddonfield. She had a daughter and a granddaughter, and she's been preparing herself for decades for the possibility of Michael's escape. And it seems that people in the town think she's a crazy lady, but 40 years later, for some reason, Michael does escape and returns home again. And those are the convoluted and confusing Halloween timelines. I'm hoping that this video does clear up any confusion how the movies fit together, and any hesitance viewers may have with watching the new one. There's no need to follow decades of story to understand it. Just watch the original movie, and you're good. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button with all of your strength. Make sure you subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss any new content. You can follow me on social media or go into my community tab for updates. And for as little as $1 a month, you can support the channel directly on Patreon. This is Fabian, I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.